So there are several ways to actually include our CSS into our HTML. And the way we're going to talk about in this example is internal CSS. Now, internal CSS means that we're going to write this inside our head element. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go ahead and start off by writing style. We're going to open it, and we're also going to close it. This is where we're going to style our web page. And let's say I want to actually make this, what I wrote here in my H1 heading, I'm learning CSS. Let's say I wanted to change something about it. Let's say I want to change the font color to blue. The way I would do that is inside of the style element here, I would first call my selector. So I want to say, all right, what do I actually want to turn blue? Well, I want the H1 tag, whatever's inside of that, I want that to be blue. And then I have to use these curly braces. Okay, open and close. It's not parentheses, it's not square brackets, they're curly braces. All right. Now, once I've done that, I have to actually list what the property is I'm changing. Do I want the color? Do I want the font size? Do I want to change the font? In this case, the property I want to change is the color. So I'm going to type color, I'm going to type colon, and then I'm going to type the color name. So let's say I want this to be blue, and that would be considered my value. So H1 is actually my selector. Color is actually my property. I have to have that colon between it, and then have the value, which is the color name in this case, which is blue. Once I've done that, I have to close it with a semicolon. All right, you just have to put it there. If you forget a semicolon, it's not going to work. All right, so let me just recap this before I run it. We created this style element. Then I went ahead and created my selector, what I actually want to change. Okay. Then the property that I want to change, and then what I actually want the value to be. Make sure to close it. And if I run it, this changes the color of H1, I'm learning CSS, to blue. And that way, everything that I included, let's say I create another H1 down here, right? And I just say, this is awesome. And then I close it. And then run it. Notice that that too is blue. But check this out. If I were to write a P for paragraph element and just type, I don't know, this is a paragraph, and then click run, it shows up in black. Notice it's not in blue because we've only established what H1 should be styled as. So if I wanted to change a different attribute, let's say I wanted to change the P, I would use P as my selector, use my curly braces, open, close. And I don't know, let's say I want to change the color of that to red, and then end with a semicolon, and then run it. Notice that the P, anytime it finds the P, it's going to format it as a red paragraph, right? So just to recap, first you have to use your style, open, close. Then you have to find a selector, what you want to change the style of, what the actual property is, whether it's color or the background color or the font. We're going to go through a bunch of different things. And then what the value is, right? If we're choosing fonts, it wouldn't be blue. The font would be Arial or Times New Roman, whatever you want. Okay. And then once you run it, everything that is H1 will show up blue, and everything that's P will show up red.